Grandmaster Keith Hafner here. I used to have this student named Tony, who was a high school student. He was probably a junior at the time. And he was well known in his circle for being super disrespectful all the time. And his parents brought him to karate. And he was actually a pretty good student. He was pretty capable physically. But he loved the culture here. He loved the courtesy, the respect, the protocol, all those kinds of things. And he wanted to do well in the martial arts. And so he also wanted to do well at all those surrounding things. And he developed this real strong capacity for showing respect around here. And I don't think much changed for him outside of here at first. And I began to talk with him and about the way that he talked about his family and about his teachers at school and even about like his friends, and help him to see that, you know, Tony, what if the way you are toward your teachers at school, would you consider being that way toward your karate teachers? And I think he was kind of horrified at that idea because he loved this. And over a period of time, I began to show him that, you know, that thing that you're doing here is why this is working out well for you. And it is also the absence of it out there in your real life is why you're having a lot of trouble, experiencing a lot of bumps and bruises out there. It's because of your disrespectful attitude. And what he gradually began to understand is that unless you respect other people and other institutions, you cannot have self-respect. You can't feel good about yourself when you are thumbing your nose at your school, your parents, your country, law and order, church, all these wonderful things. You cannot be disrespectful toward them and feel good about yourself. And here's what happens with a lot of people. You know, we live in such a disrespectful culture. I'm sad to watch television because you see young kids on inane sitcoms that are so disrespectful toward their parents, and they're always outsmarting their parents. And a lot of times their parents are really presented as buffoons, and the kids are the smart ones. Everything in our culture, I think, points our kids toward disrespecting people and institutions. And they wind up having no self-respect. Their only identity is wrapped up in just being dismissive and critical of everything else. It takes the place of being good at things. The problem is that if you have no self-respect, you will fall for anything. You are subject to every negative peer pressure that comes your way. You are subject to every temptation. You are really at the whim of the fates when it comes to withstanding temptation, because you do not have that solid basis of personal self-respect. So, if you got kids, I think you want to think about this. I think even parents have become not good at expecting respect from their children. And if you go back a few generations and look at your grandmother and your great-grandfather, and I think they felt entitled to basic levels of self-respect. You know, I think it's gotten mixed up because you will experience lots of people with whom you do not agree, whether it's politics or any number of things. But that does not relieve you of your obligation to respect that person as a human being. And I think if we grew more, had more growth in the area of respecting others and being less concerned about our differences of opinions about things, I think you just become happier and more at peace with your surroundings once you begin to respect once you begin to respect other people's right to feel differently than you do. That's really the true mark of respect, is how you feel toward and act toward people with whom you maybe even violently disagree. So think about it. Watch for it a little bit. See it in your kids, see it in yourself. Look at the people out there thumbing their nose and see if it's really doing them any good. Respect.